We spend about a third of our entire lives doing something that, for the longest time, science couldn't really explain. We call it sleep. But what if I told you it's the single most powerful performance enhancer, life extender, and memory tool you'll ever have? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the science of sleep and dreams, all thanks to the incredible work of Dr. Matthew Walker. So let me just start by asking you a question. And be honest, when was the last time you actually woke up feeling great? I mean, genuinely refreshed without an alarm clock blasting you out of bed. If you're struggling to remember, you are so not alone. In fact, the wild thing is, a staggering 2/3 of adults across all developed nations fail to get the recommended 8 hours of sleep. And this isn't just, a personal problem of feeling a little groggy. It's a silent, global epidemic. And the consequences are, well, they're devastating. So here's what we're going to cover. We're going to start with this global sleep epidemic. Then we'll get into the 2 internal timers that tell your body when it's time to rest. We'll explore the incredible architecture of what's happening when you sleep. And then we'll look at the real damage that sleep loss does, both to your brain and your body. But definitely stick around, because we're going to finish by reframing sleep as the most powerful prescription you can possibly give yourself. Okay, first things first, we really have to wrap our heads around the massive scale of this problem. This goes way beyond just feeling tired. The World Health Organization has actually declared an official sleep loss epidemic across the industrialized world. And the fallout from this it's severe. Routinely getting less than 6 hours of sleep a night, which so many of us do, it just demolishes your immune system. We're talking more than doubling your risk of cancer. It's now seen as a major factor in developing Alzheimer's disease, and it's directly tied to cardiovascular disease, stroke, and heart failure. After decades of research, the conclusion is just brutally simple. The shorter you sleep, the shorter your life. So how did we get here? Why is this happening on such a huge scale? To really get it, we have to look at these 2 brilliant, totally independent timers that your body uses to regulate sleep. Think of them as 2 forces that are supposed to work together in perfect harmony. So the first one is your circadian rhythm. This is basically your internal 24-hour clock. It's like a master pacemaker deep in your brain that controls all these daily cycles of when you feel awake and when you feel sleepy. And then there's the second timer. This one's a chemical called adenosine. And the way it works is simple. For every minute you're awake, this stuff builds up in your brain. The longer you stay awake, the more adenosine you have. And that creates what scientists call sleep pressure. It's literally the thing that makes you feel more and more tired as the day drags on. And here's where it all comes together beautifully. See that dotted line? That's your circadian rhythm, your wake-up signal, and it naturally takes a nosedive at night. Now, at the same time, that solid line, that's the adenosine, has been building and building all day, creating all that sleep pressure. The biggest gap between those 2 lines? That's your biological sweet spot for sleep. That's when you feel that powerful, undeniable urge to just crash. Okay, so that's what gets us to sleep. But what's actually going on once our eyes are closed? It is not just powering down. It's a period of intense, incredible work. Let's take a look at the very architecture of sleep. You see, sleep isn't just one thing. It's more like a nightly battle between 2 very different types of sleep. NREM, which stands for non-rapid eye movement sleep, and REM, rapid eye movement sleep. Here's a way to think about it. NREM dominates the first half of the night, and it's all about reflection, kind of like saving the important files from the day. Then, REM takes over later in the night, and it's about integration, connecting those new files to everything you already know and dealing with all the emotions. Deep NREM sleep is basically your brain's nightly IT department. It's cleaning things up, getting rid of neural connections you don't need anymore, and, this is so important, it moves new, fresh memories from your brain's very vulnerable short-term storage, think of it like a USB stick, into a much safer, permanent, long-term vault. It's a critical file transfer. But REM sleep, that's where the real magic happens. It takes those newly saved memories and starts smashing them together with your entire life's library of experiences. This is the engine of creativity, of problem solving. REM sleep is also kind of overnight therapy. It helps to soften the sharp emotional edges of difficult experiences so we can wake up feeling better about them. So what happens when we cut this incredible nightly process short? Well, a brain without enough sleep is a brain under attack. Plain and simple. And the effect is immediate. And it's pretty shocking. After just one night of not getting enough sleep, your brain's ability to make new memories plummets by a staggering 40%. 40. To put that in perspective, that's the difference between acing a test and failing it completely. Dr. Walker has this incredible way of putting it. He says that being awake is like low-level brain damage. It creates all these toxic waste products in your brain. Sleep is the neurological sanitation crew that comes in every night to power wash the sidewalks of your mind. Now, if that cleanup crew doesn't get to do its job, toxic proteins start to build up. One of those is called amyloid, and it's the plaque that's directly linked to Alzheimer's disease. And this is where a truly terrifying vicious cycle kicks in. It goes like this. Not enough sleep means more amyloid plaque builds up. Then, that plaque starts to attack the very parts of the brain that help you get that deep sleep. That, of course, means you get even less deep sleep, which then means your brain is even less able to clean away the amyloid. It's just a downward spiral. But listen, the damage doesn't stop with the brain, not even close. The effects of sleep loss just cascade through your entire body. We're talking about a system-wide failure. No organ, no biological process is left untouched. The link to our physical health is it's stark. If you routinely sleep less than 6 or 7 hours a night, you more than double your risk of cancer. And the reason is that a lack of sleep absolutely devastates your immune system, especially these things called natural killer cells that are your first line of defense against tumors. And if you want some truly undeniable proof, just look at the massive global experiment we all take part in twice a year, daylight saving time. In the spring, when over 1 billion people lose just 1 hour of sleep, hospitals report a 24% spike in heart attacks the very next day. 24%. And then in the fall, when we all get that hour back, there's a 21% drop. That is how sensitive our bodies are to even 1 single hour of lost sleep. But on the flip side, the benefits of getting enough sleep are just as dramatic. Check out this data from studies on NBA players. When they get a full 8 hours of sleep or more, their points per minute on the court shoot up by 29%. Their turnovers drop by 37%, and they commit 45% fewer fouls. I mean, come on. Sleep is the ultimate legal performance-enhancing drug, and it's free. So all of this leads to a really critical shift in how we have to think about sleep. It's not a luxury. It's not some kind of weakness or something to be ashamed of. It is a fundamental biological necessity. It is your non-negotiable nightly prescription for health. And Dr. Walker just sums it up perfectly right here. Sleep is the single most effective thing we can do to reset our brain and body health each day. I mean, it's pretty much Mother Nature's best shot yet at fighting death. The evidence is it's overwhelming. Sleep is not an optional activity you try to squeeze in. It is the very foundation of your mental and your physical health. The science is powerful, and frankly, it's pretty scary. So the only question that really matters now is the one you have to ask yourself. Knowing everything we just talked about, what is the one thing you are going to do differently to protect your sleep tonight?